This is a video for how to go about creating a tougher ISO in Fusion 360. You will notice in the image on the right hand side that we have kind of a rectangular prism with 4 cuts in it, and then we have this kind of angled cut, and that's what makes this one a little bit tougher than some of the ones you did during the 20 ISOs in Fusion 360 part. We'll be learning how to use the construct menu with work planes, and we're also going to introduce a little bit of things with primitives, and we'll be using the subtractive method to make this object. So you will notice that we are in metric, so we'll be in millimeters, and we have 88 by 56 by 50. So first thing I want to do is come up to my document settings, and let's make sure that we are in millimeters, and I'm going to say OK. Now to create this object, we're going to use this menu down here, and we're going to use the box command. So I'm in box, and I'm going to click on a plane, and I'm going to click on the origin, and we are 88 wide. I'm going to hit tab, by 56 tall, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to go 50 for deep, and right there we have our rectangular prism. Basically it looks exactly the same as you would see in our image, but just without these cuts in it. So we're going to go ahead and start placing our cuts in the top, and we're going to do this by creating a sketch on the top of the object, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to click on rectangle, and we're going to snap to the top right hand corner, and we will have for ourselves 38 across, and I'm going to hit tab, and I'm going to go back to this object because you'll see I have 38 here, and I got to find what this distance is. 28 plus 12 is 40, 50 minus 40 is 10, so we are going to place 10 over here on this side, and go ahead and hit enter. Now while we're still at the back, we can see that 38 plus 12 is 50, 88 minus 50 is 38. So over here is 38, and the width is going to be the same. Now a way that we can do this when we go in is we can snap on our corner, and we're going to drag out, and I'm just going to click and just place a rectangle, and I'm going to come up and grab the dimension toolbar, and I'm going to click here and drag up, and I'm just going to tap on the 38, and the D6 means the 6th total dimension that we've placed, and that includes every dimension we placed when making the box. So we're just going to tap on the 38, and that's D6, and also you get the FX for function. This will always function as what this is over here. I'm going to click and drag over, and I'm going to tap on the 10. That will always function as whatever this is over here. So we now have for ourselves our 2 kind of skinnier rectangles at the back. We now have our rectangle here at the front, and we have 38 wide. It'll be the same width, but the depth might be a little bit different, and here we can see that's going to be 28. So we got 38 and 28. So I'm going to click and drag up 38, and I'm going to hit tab, 28, and hit enter. We're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side, except for I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter, and I want this right here to always be 38. I'm going to double click on it, tap on the 38, I'm going to grab the dimension tool, I'm going to click, I'm going to drag over, I'm going to tap on the 28 over here. These will always function. Just as a reminder, what that means is this. If I double click on the 38 and I say, no, actually I screwed up, that's 20, that's automatically going to jump for us. It helps you in design later. Let's go to finish sketch. I'm going to click on my house for my ISO view. Let's grab a hold of extrude because we want to cut these, and I'm going to click on all 4 of these surfaces, and I'm going to just kind of start dragging down, and you can see the cut. Now I know that we can do basic, addition and subtraction, but I want to show you that in Fusion you can kind of enter some of these things yourself. So I've got a height of 56, but it's the distance is 56 minus 18, which is 38. So what we're trying to do is find that exact number. Now in Fusion, one of the things I can do is I can hit minus for negative and start some parentheses and go 56 minus 18 and close my parentheses, and look what it did. I can just throw that math in there. So if you have a lot of significant digits and decimal places and things, you can throw those in there automatically, and Fusion will do that math for you. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit enter. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting, because we're trying to cut off this perfect angled slice of this object, and we need to find this point right over here. So this point right here is a corner. We can see these kind of extension lines coming up, these construction lines if you will, that show us that point right here, and we also have a point down here on this corner. So these two are kind of simple. It's this one over here we have to find. So to start out, I want to project this point right here, and I'm going to go up to create sketch, and we're going to click on the top of our object, and I'm going to hit P on my keyboard for project geometry, and I'm going to tap in the corner, and I'm going to say OK, and we're going to go to finish sketch. Let's grab a hold of create sketch, and we're going to click on the front face of the object. Now we need to find for ourselves a 45-degree angle from the bottom right hand corner. So in order to do that, we're going to grab a hold of the line command, and I'm going to go to the bottom right hand corner, and I'm just going to kind of drag up, and I'm not going to place the line command here because I just want to make sure I go all the way through it. I mean, I'm over 100 millimeters here, I'm good. I'm just going to kind of drag up and above, and I'm going to hit tab, and over here you see 140. Now, a 180-degree angle is a straight line. 90 degrees is straight up. We're trying to find a 45-degree angle. So if we said 180 minus 45, we'd get 135. One of the things that we can do is we can just put in 180. Watch this, it'll lay flat to the left, and I go minus and put in 45, and Fusion will automatically calculate that for you. We'll automatically take care of that. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. Now, I have to get a point projected along this line, so I'm going to need to hit P on my keyboard and project this line. I need this intersection point right here, and we need to make sure Fusion sees that. One of the reasons we projected that line was because otherwise we just have nothing but a line. We don't have anything creating an intersection point. From there, we'll go to Create, we'll go to Point, and I want to drag along here, in the second that snaps to that intersection, we have ourselves a point right here. We need that point. That point is the location in space we just created through some geometric construction, is what we'll call that. We had to draw and project some other lines to get that point. The ISO image over here never gave us this distance. It never gave us the width, it never gave us the height, it only kind of gave us this angle, and we had to go find that. So I'm going to go to Finish Sketch. Let's go to my house. I now have myself the 3 points that I need. We're going to go to the Construct menu, and we're going to go to Plane through 3 points. And our 3 points are the ones we just made here. There's one selected. We come over here, we click, we have 2 selected. Our next one is right down here, and that shows up. 3 selected. And you get this kind of, orange construction plane that we see, and now we say okay. I'm just going to kind of take a look at it. You can see the plane is kind of going right down through that side how we want. We have those other little things exposed on the other side. Kind of cool to see. We're going to grab a hold of Create Sketch, and we're going to click on our plane. Now, one thing we can do for this is I can come over and just click on the plane 1 in this menu, and it's automatically going to select it. If you struggle sometimes out here, see how it's seeing different planes and doesn't know where to go, we're going to go over to our menu and go to plane 1 and click, and automatically we get a straight on looking perpendicular view of that plane. I'm just going to grab a hold of 2-point rectangle in this case, and I'm just going to sketch myself a rectangle over the whole thing and hit Finish Sketch. And we're going to grab a hold of Extrude, and I'm going to tap inside of that object, and we can even just kind of go to the side here, kind of maybe a little bit of a different view, and I'm just going to drag straight up off of that and cut and say okay. Come over to Sketches and turn off the visibility of your sketches. Go to your House button. You just cut off everything. They're just drawing a rectangle and basically pulling it towards you and cutting off this surface, and this surface. Now, as you go through and do this object, you might ask yourself, couldn't we have done it this way or that way? And you're probably right. There's more than one way to go about doing these things. But I do think it's important that you learn different methodologies to do things. So in your Construct menu, a lot of people ignore, planes within the menu. Like, it's very common to use mid-plane when you slice something in half, but there's a lot of great ways that you can use these planes to help you with more complex angles and complex forms and complex geometry. That's what the Construct menu is for, is to help you find planes at angles and at different methods in order to create objects. So this has been a video for how to go about creating a tougher ISO in Fusion 360.